If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joey Baird. It's currently the first week in November and we have had a frost occur and it's time to harvest our Yacons. We didn't plant as many as normal, but we filled this pallet raised bed with them. Yacons are a root crop originating from South America, similar to a sweet potato in shape and size, but it has a nutty, woody, earthy flavor to it, and we have found that if you peel them, dehydrate them, they turn into really good gummy candy, in our opinion. There's a lot of things in which you can do with Yacons. Yacon syrup is one of them. You can bake them as well. These did not get as tall as normal. They'll typically get about 5 to 7 foot tall. Last year, before we constructed these beds, we had a batch 1520s planted here, had a really good yield on them. So we'll see what these have. Just because they're short in stature does not mean that they won't produce. Yacons are grown from rhizomes, which are saved from this time of the year, and then put in sand in our practice in a cool attic stairwell, and then brought out 90 days before we intend to put them in the ground in the spring. We plant them and we grow. We have had these since 2014, and I've been saving the rhizomes year after year. So I'm just gonna, let's do this. Where's my cutters at? Here they are. All right, so I'm gonna cut this back. I'm gonna cut this one back, and we're going to dig this one up here so you can see what they may look like. These were on irrigation. Okay. So these did not grow as large. That's a potato, because I know there was an old potato plant there. So on a small scale, this is what we've got. This is a Yacon tuber. Now we've had them where they've been up to 5 pounds before coming out of our garden. That's nothing important. Now the rhizomes are these purple pieces here. What we will do is I'll come in and clean these up, trim the tops off, and then save the rhizomes all intact in the sand, and then extract them in the spring next year, or January, February, and plant them in party cups, and then they'll be ready to go in the ground after our last frost. You treat them just like tomatoes. So this is on a small side. Some of these didn't grow very big. So let's see. First of all, I want to dig here and see if I can find another potato, just to make sure I don't have any extra ones. I got, yep, another potato. That was a volunteer potato from a couple seasons ago. Okay. Let's get this one going here and see if we can find a bigger root zone. There we go. All right, so those are somewhat bigger. I knew they were going to be smaller in size. But what we'll do is we'll dig through all of this and see what we end up with. Looks like it might be a small year or on Yacons. Okay, so out of the 7 years that we've grown Yacons, this is probably the second worst harvest we've had in combination to, with the first year we grew them, we had 2 plants, so we really didn't know what we were doing, and we didn't have a lot of rhizomes. We only had 2 plants to go off of. So here's what the Yacons look like in a smaller state. Now we've had, coming out of this garden, Yacons that all 3 of these would have been one size unit, one root coming out, and there'd been 3 or 4 of those on. In South America, they can average between 15 and 30 pounds a plant. On a good year here in southeast Wisconsin, we've gotten about 4.5 pounds per plant. So we do have some tubers here, and you just break them off. And you can do a lot of things with them. I find that if you peel them first, then cut them in little chunks or slivers or coin-sized pieces and dehydrate them. They're really good without having to do a whole lot of anything. When we look at what we can save in the form of rhizomes in order to grow next year, this is a good example. Right here we've got 1, 2, 3 rhizomes. That's a tiny fourth. If you really want to nitpick, and if you're very short on plants, in the spring, when you remove these out of the sand, there's actually 1, 2, 3 growth tips. You could actually cut that in half and have 2 growth tips on one and one on the other, kind of like a potato with eyes. So we should have enough rhizomes for the amount of plants in which we are wanting to grow. How you can get, there's an example of a rhizome. You can purchase rhizomes from places like Etsy. There's some garden centers online that may ship them to you. You can also buy plants as well that for about $9 to $12 a plant, plus about that much more to ship. But once you have them, you can repetitively grow them forever if you're doing it the way we're doing, with saving the rhizomes each year in a bucket of sand in the attic of the stairwell where it keeps chilled, and do it that way. So Yacons is a unique crop not everybody is familiar with, but it's fun to grow and it does produce most years than not. Thanks for watching. Join me next time for more organic gardening. I'm Joy Baird, and this has been the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.